Hey girls, whoa, I am wearing pants here, shorts. I gotta change positions. It looks like I'm not wearing pants. I am. I'm wearing shorts. I show all my business. Good morning, girls. Happy Friday. Bessie, please chill. Just chillax. 21,000 steps. Good night. That's a lot of movement in one day. Good for you, Meredith. I love that place. I haven't been in years. Loved it. I love theme parks like that, but I don't really get to take Marin to a lot because she is not a thrill ride person at all. So like, I want to take her to like Carowinds, but she has interest because it's mostly thrill rides. So we don't go. If we ever go to Florida, probably the only place we'll go is going to be SeaWorld. Took me a minute. Yes, these are my Walmart shorts. Most comfortable shorts in the world. I wear them almost every day. I have like blue and black and gray, and I love them. All right, girls. June 6th. Hey, June 6th. I graduated high school 29 years ago today. I also got my driver's license 31 years ago today. And I still stink at driving. All right, June 6th. The futility of wisdom, Ecclesiastes 1, 12 through 18. I, the teacher, was king of Israel, and I lived in Jerusalem. I devoted myself to search for understanding and to explore by wisdom everything being done under heaven. I soon discovered that God has dealt a tragic existence to the human race. I observed that everything going on under the sun, and really, it is all meaningless, like chasing the wind. What is wrong cannot be made right. What is missing cannot be recovered. I said to myself, look, I am wiser than any of the kings who ruled Jerusalem before me. I have greater wisdom and knowledge than any of them. So I set out to learn everything from wisdom to madness and folly. But I learned firsthand that pursuing all of this is like chasing the wind. To greater my wisdom, the greater my wisdom, the greater my grief. To increase knowledge only increases sorrow. The futility of pleasure, Ecclesiastes 2, 1 through 11. I said to myself, come, let's try pleasure. Let's look for the good things in life. But I found that this too was meaningless. So I said, laughter is silly. What good does it do to seek pleasure? After much thought, I decided to cheer myself with wine. And while I was still seeking wisdom, I clutched at foolishness. In this way, I tried to experience the only happiness most people find during their brief life in this world. I also tried to find meaning by building huge homes for myself and by planting beautiful vineyards. I made gardens and parks, filling them with all kinds of fruit trees. I built reservoirs to collect the water to irrigate my many flourishing groves. I bought slaves, both men and women, and others were born into my household. I just lost my place. I just totally lost my place. My contact went up on top of my eye and then came back down, and I lost my place. I built reservoirs to collect water to irrigate my many flourishing groves. I bought slaves, both men and women. Others were born into my household. I also bought herds and flocks more than any of the kings who had lived in Jerusalem before me. I collected great sums of silver and gold and many treasures of kings and provinces. I hired wonderful singers, both men and women, and had many beautiful concubines. I had everything a man could desire. So I became greater than all who lived in Jerusalem before me, and my wisdom never failed me. Anything I wanted, I would take. I denied myself no pleasure. I even found great pleasure in hard work, a reward for all my labors. But as I looked at everything I had worked so hard to accomplish, it was all so meaningless, like chasing the wind. There was nothing really worthwhile anywhere. The wise and the foolish, Ecclesiastes 2, 12 through 16. So I decided to compare wisdom with foolishness and madness. For who can do this better than I, the king? I thought wisdom is better than foolishness, just as light is better than darkness. For the wise can see where they are going, but the fools walk in the dark. Yes, I saw that the wise and the foolish were the same, share the same fate. Both will die. So I said to myself, so I will end up the same as the foolish. What's the value of all my wisdom? This is all so meaningless. For the wine, I can't read. For the wise and the foolish both die. The wise will not be remembered any longer than the fool. In the days to come, both will be forgiven. The futility of work. Ecclesiastes 2:17 through 26. So I came to hate life because everything done here under the sun is so troubling. Everything is meaningless, like chasing the wind. I came to hate all my hard work here on earth, for I must leave to others everything I have earned. And who can tell whether my successors will be wise or foolish? Yet they will control everything I have gained by my skill and hard work under the sun. How meaningless. So I gave up in despair, questioning the value of all my hard work in this world. Some people work wisely with knowledge and skill, then must leave the fruit of their efforts to someone who hasn't worked for it. This, too, is meaningless, a great tragedy. So, what do people get in this life for all their hard work and anxiety? Their days are labor filled with pain and grief. Even at night, their minds cannot rest. It is all meaningless. So, I decided there is nothing better than to enjoy food and drink and satisfaction in work. Then I realized that these pleasures are from the hand of God. For who can eat or enjoy anything apart from Him? God gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy to those who please Him. But if a sinner becomes wealthy, God takes the wealth away and gives it to those who please Him. This, too, is meaningless, like chasing the wind. A time for everything. Ecclesiastes 3:1 through 15. For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to turn away, a time to search and a time to quit searching, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be quiet and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. What do people really get for all of their hard work? I have seen the burden God has placed on us all. Yet God has made everything beautiful in its own time. He has planned eternity in the human heart, but even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from the beginning to the end. So I concluded there is nothing better than to be happy and enjoy ourselves as long as we can. And people should eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of their labor, for these are gifts from God. And I know that whatever God does is final. Nothing can be added to it or taken away from it. God's purpose is that people should fear Him. What is happening now has happened before, and what will happen in the future has happened before, because God makes the same things happen over and over again. The injustices of life, Ecclesiastes 3:16 through 4:6. I also notice that under the sun there is evil in the courtroom. Yes, even the courts of law are corrupt. I said to myself, in due season God will judge everyone, both good and bad, for all of their deeds. I also thought about the human condition, how God proves to people that they are like animals. For people and animals share the same fate. Both breathe and both must die. So people have no real advantage over animals. How meaningless. Both go to the same place. They came from the dust and they return to the dust. For who can prove the human spirit goes up and who can prove that the human spirit goes up and the spirit of animals goes down into the earth? So I saw that there is nothing better for people than to be happy in their work. That is our lot in life, and no one can bring us back to see what happens after we die. Again, I observed all the oppression that takes place under the sun. I saw the tears of the oppressed with no one there to comfort them. The oppressors have great power and their victims are helpless. So I concluded that the dead are better off than the living. But most fortunate of all are those who have not yet been born, for they have not yet seen all the evil that is done under the sun. Then I observed that most people are motivated to success because they envy their neighbors. But this too is meaningless, like chasing the wind. Fools fold their idle hands, leading them to ruin. And yet, better to have one handful with quietness than two handfuls with hard work and chasing the wind. The advantages of companionship, Ecclesiastes 4:7 through 12. I observed yet another example of something meaningless under the sun. This is the case of a man who is all alone, without a child or a brother, yet who works hard to gain as much wealth as he can. But then he asks himself, who am I working for? Why am I giving up so much pleasure now? It is also meaningless and depressing. Two people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other can reach out and help. But if someone who falls but someone who falls alone is in real trouble. Likewise, two people living close together can keep each other warm, but how can one be in a warm place? But how can one be warm alone? I can't read. A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Three are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. The futility of political power. Ecclesiastes 4:13 through 16. It is better to be a poor but wise youth than an old and foolish king who refuses all advice. Such youth could rise from poverty and succeed. He might even become king, though he has been in prison. But then everyone rushes to the side of yet another youth who replaces him. Endless crowds stand around him, but then another generation grows up and rejects him too. So it is all meaningless, like chasing the wind. The importance of fearing God. Ecclesiastes 5:1 through 7. As you enter the house of God, keep your ears open and your mouth shut. It is evil to make mindless offerings to God. Don't make rash promises, and don't be hasty in bringing matters to God. After all, God is in heaven and you are here on earth. Let your words be few. Too much activity gives you restless dreams. Too many words makes you a fool. When you make a promise to God, don't delay in following through, for God takes no pleasure in fools. Keep all the promises you make to Him. It is better to say nothing than to make a promise and not keep it. Don't let your mouth make you sin, and don't defend yourself by telling the temple messenger that the promise you made was a mistake. That would make God angry, and He might wipe out everything you achieved. Talk is cheap, like daydreams and other useless activities. Fear God instead. The futility of wealth. Ecclesiastes 5:8 through 6:9. Don't be surprised if you see a poor person being oppressed by the powerful, and if justice is being miscarried throughout the land. For every official is under order from higher up, and matters of justice get lost in red tape and bureaucracy. Even the king milks the land for his own profit. Those who love money will never have enough. How meaningless to think that wealth brings true happiness. The more you have, the more people come to help you spend it. So what good is wealth, except perhaps to watch it slip through your fingers? People who work hard sleep well, whether they eat little or much, but the rich seldom get a good night's sleep. There is another serious problem I have seen under the sun. Hoarding riches harms the saver. Money is put into risky investments that turn sour, and everything is lost. In the end, there is nothing left to pass on to one's children. We all come to the end of our lives as naked and empty handed as the day we were born. We can't take our riches with us. And this, too, is a very serious problem. People leave this world no better off than when they came. All their hard work is for nothing, like working for the wind. Throughout their lives, they live under a cloud, frustrated, discouraged, and angry. Even so, I have noticed one thing, at least, that is good. One thing that is good. It is good for people to eat, drink, and enjoy their work under the sun during the short life God has given them, and to accept their lot in life. It is a good thing to receive wealth from God and good health to enjoy it, to enjoy your work and to accept your lot in life. This is indeed a gift from God. God keeps such people busy enjoying life that they need no time to brood over the past. There is another serious tragedy I have seen under the sun, and it weighs heavily on humanity. God gives some people great wealth and honor and everything they could ever want, but then He doesn't give them a chance to enjoy these things. They die, and someone else, even a stranger, ends up enjoying their wealth. This is meaningless, a sickening tragedy. A man might have 100 children and live to be very old, but if he finds no satisfaction in life and doesn't even get a decent burial, it would have been better for him to have been born dead. His birth would have been meaningless, and his birth would have been meaningless, and he would have ended in darkness. He wouldn't even have had a name, and he would never have seen the sun or known its existence. Yet he would have had more peace than in growing up to be an unhappy man. He might live 1,000 years twice over, but still not find contentment. And since he must die like everyone else, well, what's the use? All people spend their lives scratching for food, but they never seem to have enough. So are wise people really better off than fools? Do poor people gain anything by being wise and knowing how to act in front of others? Enjoy what you have rather than desiring what you don't have. Just dreaming about nice things is meaningless, like chasing the wind. The future, determined and unknown. Ecclesiastes 6:10 through 12. Everything has already been decided. It was known long ago what each person would be. So there's no use arguing with God about your destiny. The more words you speak, the less they mean. So what good are they? In the few days of our meaningless lives, who knows how our days can best be spent? Our lives are like a shadow. Who can tell what will happen on this earth after we are gone? There's so much cheerfulness in Ecclesiastes. I can see him coming at me with his big stuffy toys. I can see when he's headed this way. And he's about to lay one in my lap. All right. We are moving on to week 2 in Pots, Pans, and Prophecies. And this one is called Power Truth, Profession of the Promise. As you walk with renewed determination to completely yield your life to God's plan, you must realize that there will be times you need a trusted friend to encourage you along the way. In this week's lesson, we will consider the friendship of Elizabeth and Mary. We will discuss the importance of a mentor. There are times in your life that you will need a mentor, and that there are times where you will be the mentor to someone else. It is so important that you are willing to receive this truth. It is vital when God opens your heart to a new revelation for your life that you allow yourself to be mentored by a trusted, committed, and faithful disciple of Christ and a proven friend. It is also vitally important that you yield yourself to be that mentor to someone who needs you at a very vulnerable time in his or her life. We are not alone in this journey, and we need each other. Sometimes I am the one needing a friend, and other times I am the friend who needs someone. Again, I say to you that if the two of you agree on earth about anything, and they may ask it, and it shall be done for them by my Father who is in heaven. For where there are 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, there I am in their midst. Matthew 18:19 through 20. Okay, that's like the introduction. We'll go on to the beginning tomorrow. All right. See if I missed any chat. All right, girls. Well, it's Friday. I have some work to do this morning, and then we're going to go to the planetarium and butterfly thing. We have season annual passes to the Science Museum, and the butterfly exhibit is like an open air outside. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess like an outside terrarium with lots of plants and flowers and trees and hundreds of butterflies. And you can go in and catch the butterflies. They land on you. You can walk around with them. We spent like 2 hours in there. I don't know if it was last week or the week before now. I can't remember. I think it was the week before. But they got benches all over and you can just sit and the butterflies just come land on you. It's so neat. And Marin loves butterflies. And so does my husband. And he was in there catching all the butterflies and walking around with them. And I'll hold one for a second and then I could care less. But I'll sit there and read, and the two of them will catch butterflies for 2 hours. But then they also have the planetarium has a Flight of the Monarchs today, so we might go watch that. Fun stuff. I like the Science Museum. They have a lot of really young stuff, but then they have a lot of older stuff too. It's nice. It's a nice place. So we're going to go do that later today. It's 90 degrees with 90% humidity today, so that'll be fun. You don't like it, Susan? You don't like they're so sweet. They're just so, I don't know what it is about butterflies that it's so easy to get like attached to butterflies. Like I would not get attached to a fly or a roach or anything else. But after we spent all those years raising all those monarchs, you get so ridiculously attached to them. They're just so, I don't know. And in this place, you get sugar water. They spray your hands with really sticky stuff. And so the butterflies land on you, and they will stay there the whole time eating. You can watch them eat the sugar water. And the monarchs are not there yet, but they will be later this season. It's too early in the season for monarchs in North Carolina, but they'll be here. I think she said July, end of July, they'll be monarchs. So, yep, very cool. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and end in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for our time together and for the reading of your word and for bringing us wisdom and opening our eyes to the truth that you would have for us and the message you want for us today. God, I pray for each woman here and all that they're going through, and ask you to strengthen them and just show your power to each and every one of us today. Remind us of your love for us and help us to recognize your power all around us, to see you in the people around us and the need for you in the people around us, and help us to be a testimony to you wherever we go. I also pray for each and every one of us on this health journey, that you would continue to strengthen us and encourage us, even when it's hard. When we try and nothing happens, remind us today of why we make these choices to honor you with our body. In your precious name, amen. All right. You do, Jan. I love that. We had, I think the most we ever raised in a year was 100 monarchs. And that's my stomach growling. I love it. It's just the whole process. The process of the caterpillar going from this everyday creature, like all the other caterpillars, to being broken down. I mean, turned into goo, just completely turned inside out. If you've ever watched a monarch go from caterpillar to chrysalis, you know what I mean. They split down the middle and they turn inside out and they become literal goo. They are turned into nothing before, like, they get to their absolute worst before they turn into something beautiful. And I think that is just the most amazing picture of what Christ does for us. Like, every time I watch the caterpillar go from his little J on the ceiling to splitting apart and then turning into something beautiful and then being born, it is, to me, the most beautiful picture of salvation. It's mesmerizing. All of them, all of their, the process, but there's something about the monarch that is just amazing. Just amazing. Amazing. So, all right, girls. Well, and that's the theme at the retreat this year, work in progress. And it's all kind of themed around the transformation. It's really cool. I'm excited I'm getting excited for the retreat. We're only like 42, I think, days away. Not very many. I know that. All right, loves. I love you so much. Thanks for being part of my day. I've had a few people reach out and say, I'm missing Breakfast Live. I hate that you're not doing them anymore. And I said, okay, I will do a Breakfast Live next week. So I will figure out something to cook live next week, and one day next week at least, I will do a Breakfast Live. Hannah, if you have milkweed near your house, yes, we are, Meredith. Hannah, if you have milkweed specifically at your house, look for eggs. You can look for their eggs. They're tiny. You got to know what you're looking for, but they're the most beautiful little things you'll ever see. When you realize you found a monarch egg, you'll know it is the most perfect, beautiful, crystally, shimmery little thing you'll ever see. But they have to have milkweed. So if you don't have milkweed around your area, like when you order in monarchs, they don't do well. It's because they're not in the flight path. So unless you're in the flight path, unless you have milkweed, I wouldn't recommend buying monarchs online. Okay, you do. Then go look on go instead of getting it, go find them on the milkweed. You'll find if it's butterfly season there, if it's in their path, you'll find milkweed will be covered in eggs and baby caterpillars. I mean, the baby caterpillars the eggs are no bigger than the tip of a ballpoint pen, and they're like opaque. They're like kind of whitish, shimmery, and they're like a little. They come to a point at the top, and they have little lines all over. I mean, you gotta know what you're looking for. I got so I could be like, oh, there's one over there. I can see it. I got so good at doing it, but once you figure it out, and then you bring some milkweed in and put it in a terrarium, and just keep it moist, and yeah, you'll have caterpillars and then butterflies. Pretty amazing. All right, girls, I love you so much. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all back tomorrow. Reminder, tomorrow is Saturday, and I will probably sleep in. I love you, girls. Have a great day.